नमस्कार मंडळी, मी आनंद सरदेशमुख. पुन्हा एकदा मी आपल्या सर्वांचं माझा उद्योजकता आणि स्टार्टअप एंटरप्राइज एंटरप्रेनर अँड स्टार्टअप या यूट्यूब चॅनलवर स्वागत करतो. आज सुद्धा मी तुमच्या भेटीला काही तरुण उद्योजकांना घेऊन आलेलो आहे. मंडळी, असं म्हणतात की आपल्या रोजच्या काही गोष्टी असतात त्याच्यात आज सुद्धा आपण अनेक जण देवाची सकाळी पूजा करतो. आणि मी जेव्हा म्हणतो की देवाची पूजा करतो तेव्हा मला माझं लहानपण आठवतं, किंबहुना तुम्हाला सुद्धा तुमचं लहानपण आठवेल. की ज्या वेळेस आपल्या घरी देवाच्या पूजेकरता फुलाची पुडी यायची. ही पुडी कुणीतरी फुलवाला आणून द्यायचा किंवा आपण कुठेतरी जाऊन घेऊन यायचो आणि सकाळी पूजेकरता ही फुलं वापरली जायची. अर्थातच ज्यांच्या घरी फुलझाडं होती ते त्यांच्या घरातल्या फुलझाडांचा वापर करायचे. पण नंतर आपण जसे शहरात बंगल्यातून फ्लॅटमध्ये गेलो, त्या फ्लॅटमध्ये आल्यानंतर अशी झाडं राहिली नाही, तेव्हा सकाळच्या पूजेकरता आपल्याला ही फुलं बाहेरून आणावे लागतील. तेव्हा जसा दुधाचा रतीब होता तसा काही अनेक जणांकडे फुलपुडीचा रतीब होता किंवा काही लोक फुलं घेऊन यायची. आज भारतात असं म्हणतात की जवळजवळ 20 कोटी लोक हे सकाळच्या पूजेकरता वेगवेगळ्या वेंडर्स कडनं म्हणजे फुलवाल्यांकडनं किंवा वेगवेगळ्या पद्धतीने फुलाची ही पुडी प्राप्त करून घेतात. आणि हे मोठं एक म्हणजे कल्पना करा की 20 कोटी लोक म्हणजे हे दररोज घेणाऱ्या फुलाची पुडी, म्हणजे याचा बाजारपेठ केवढी मोठी, प्रचंड मोठी होईल. पण ही बाजारपेठ सुद्धा फुलांची बाजारपेठ आहे, ही काही लोकांनी हेरली आणि यात सुद्धा काही लोकांना स्टार्टअप करता संधी सापडली. त्यांनी संधी शोधली आणि त्यांनी यातूनच काही स्टार्टअप सुरू सुद्धा केला. तेव्हा अशाच एका इंटरेस्टिंग, रंजक अशा स्टार्टअपची एक गोष्ट घेऊन आज मी आलेलो आहे. आणि आज माझ्याबरोबर अतिशय तरुण आणि उच्च शिक्षित अशा या उद्योजिका आहेत. उद्योजिका आहेत, अगदी तरुण आहेत त्या. आणि त्यांचा हा जो स्टार्टअप आहे तो फार वेगळा स्टार्टअप आहे आणि मला खात्री आहे की तुम्हाला या स्टार्टअप बद्दल माहिती करून घ्यायला नक्कीच आवडेल. या स्टार्टअपचं नाव आहे हू. आणि हा बँगलोरमध्ये सुरू झालेला स्टार्टअप आहे. आणि हा स्टार्टअप सुरू केलेला आहे रिया कुरतुरी आणि यशोदा कुरतुरी. आणि या दोघी बहिणी आहेत. दोघी बहिणींनी एकत्र येऊन स्टार्टअप सुरू करणे आणि तो सांभाळणे, एक मला वाटतं हे अशी फारच कमी स्टार्टअप असेल, किंबहुना मला तरी दुसऱ्या कुठला तरी स्टार्टअप आठवत नाही. पण या दोन बहिणींनी हा स्टार्टअप सुरू केला आणि तो एका चांगल्या यशस्वी पातळीवर नेऊन ठेवलेला आहे. तर मंडळी, चला आपण आज बातचीत करूया रिया कुरतुरी आणि यशोदा कुरतुरी या तरुण उद्योजिकांबरोबर. So, welcome Ria and welcome Yashoda to my YouTube channel, Enterprise, Entrepreneur and Startup. It's indeed my pleasure to talk to you. I have read a lot about you and that's why I got interested in your startup. And I thought that my friends who see my channel, and especially the people from Maharashtra and this part of India, should know about your startup. And we are that way, neighbors. Maharashtra and Karnataka is so close. So I thought I should bring both of you and have this interaction with you for the benefit of all these viewers and all that.
Thank you so much.
Pardon me, go ahead.
Thank you so much for having us. It's our honor to be here.
Yeah. Ria and Yashoda, actually you are, when I saw your the information and the background, your princess and who have from a bed of roses have walked straight into a bed of, I shouldn't say thorns, but bed of, a lot of challenges, lot of risk and everything. So I just would like to know something about this, that how did you decide to go in for a startup, and how did you decided to get into the entrepreneurship, which is a very, very hard task, which is a very, very hard job. So please tell me what prompted, what motivated you to get into this entrepreneurship?
That's a great way to put it, that we were princesses on a bed of roses. You're right. We do come from a family business in floriculture. Our
Yeah.
father run rose farms in India, Ethiopia, and in Kenya. But I think the thing about the bed of roses that our parents made very obvious to us from day one is that it's built on top of a layer of soil and manure, right?
Yeah.
You know, see the bed of roses. Often they can't see all of the hard work and the hard things that are right underneath. And I think our parents always made sure to inculcate that in us. Of course, we were so lucky they gave us such a great upbringing and a great platform. But we're also more lucky that they never hid their difficulties from us and what it took to really build that. We come from a lineage of farmers and from entrepreneurs. So our grandfather, he had started farms in Andhra Pradesh and then he moved to Karnataka. My father, he left his family business and he came out and he started his own business. So I think for us as well, since we were growing up, it's that you learn from your parents and you learn from your family, and that's very, very important. But you always have to kind of go out there and strike it out on your own. So that sense of wanting to do something of our own, starting our own venture, was inculcated in us from a very young age. And so that's kind of how we always thought about it, right? We always knew that things look very rosy from the outside, but to get there, you have to really work hard, and you need to really love the hard work to get to that.
Yeah, that's very true. But one more thing which I would ask Yashoda to tell me, that both of you are highly qualified. You had your master's degree from Stanford, USA, and having gone to USA and having acquired such a high qualification from United States, the land of opportunities. You decided to come back to India, and again, not going for something in maybe a high tech or something entrepreneurship in that segment. You decided to come back to the your I would say the root of this thing, where all your business entrepreneurship grew, and you decided to get into this business of flowers.
Yeah, I mean, for us, of course, we left to the US to study, and it was really driven by the opportunities and pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone rather than staying home, going to a new country, figuring things out there. So our parents always kind of pushed us into something that wasn't in our comfort zone, and equipped us with whatever we needed to prepare for it. But finally, we had to figure it out ourselves, right? And that's how we left to America as well. But I think very early on, being in America.
1 minute. What was the area of specialization of both of you in Stanford? Stanford, is it correct? Or
Yeah, Stanford.
okay.
I went to Washington University in St. Louis.
Okay.
So I have a master's in accounting and bachelor's in business administration there. I also am a CPA.
Oh, okay. And what about you?
Yeah, so I haven't done a master's like Yashoda. I just did an undergrad program. And my undergrad degree was at Stanford. It was a mix of computer science and journalism together.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. So your father had an empire, a flower empire in what was the Ethiopia, and I read somewhere that was the case study which was studied in many business school and all that, and he established himself. And I think besides Ethiopia, there are some other countries also where he established this business, and he was well known in this area. So I think, could you tell us something about that also? And why I'm asking this, because this was already an established business. You could have easily joined him and taken over that business, but you kept that aside and you thought of doing something on your own?
Yeah. So my father and my mother actually started together. They started the
Okay.
year I was born. So in 1994, they started with a small rose farm in Dotbalapur in Bangalore.
Mhm.
And today Bangalore is really a powerhouse in terms of rose
Yeah,
growth.
flowers.
Huge community. We have the IFAB organization, the flower auction, and everything. But when my father started, it was still very nascent. This greenhouse cultivation of roses, sending these flowers internationally, all of that was really uncharted territory. He kind of started out and he always had that question of, okay, what's next? What more can we do? How can I bring that innovation? So he'd gone to Israel very early on in his life and he had seen how rose cultivation happen there. So he was like, if they're able to do it and they're able to send flowers to like Holland and, internationally it goes to Japan, things like that. Why can't we do that as well? So, the first one to charter a flight to send roses,
Oh, okay.
Valentine's Day. He was one of the members that started the international flower auction in Bangalore. So he really pushed himself. It wasn't just that, oh, I have a farm, it's doing well, but it's what more can I do with my roses? What more innovation can I really bring in?
Okay.
Was also always with him. From Bangalore, they actually went to Kenya. So Kenya was farm in Africa. That was actually the world's largest rose farm. So that was for about 4 to 5 years, the world's largest rose farm. And those would go to Holland, they would go all over the world. And it was really, amazing to see an Indian, company going to Kenya and like becoming a world leader there. Then he was invited to go to Ethiopia as well. And he did not just floriculture, but agriculture as well. So he had projects there. So we, our entire life, every dinner, lunch, vacation, whatever it was, we were always hearing our parents, both of them on calls. Like our parents would come to pick us up from school. And then on the way back, we'd be hearing, what is happening with this harvest, what's happening with this planting, all of that. But really as a family involved in that, every Valentine's Day, our parents, even when we were kids, they would take us to the farms because that's where the action was, right? And we thought we were helping, like picking up boxes, moving things, but it was just being in that environment. We actually both worked in our family business. Yashoda for longer than I did. She worked there for about 3 years, and I worked there for about 1.5 years. Actually, something we did when so Yashoda had just completed her master's. She did an accelerator program. And that's when my dad had fallen sick. So he had like a heart issue, and luckily he's better now. But at that time, he couldn't travel. Yashoda came back and she kind of took over those operations. I took a small gap in my education as well to come back and work in the family business. And I think those years were really formative for us to understand that business, to really see from the inside what our parents had built and, like how much work and effort goes into that. It was a great learning experience to be involved in it. But once our father was, able to recover his health and he was able to get back on his feet, he kind of gave us that freedom to say that, you guys came in when the family business needed you, but you're kind of free to go and do your own thing. And that was something that was always really important to us as well. So Yashoda actually started thinking about it, where it was like, what can we do? What can she do on her own? I was still in college at the time. And that's how we started Hubu. And honestly, I can tell you this, working in our family business made us really close as a family and made us understand a lot. But I think starting our own business as Hubu made us understand our parents in a way that probably nothing else in the world could have. Because now we have a child that we love as much as they loved their business, right? And we are kind of going through all those early day struggles that they went through. And I think that has been a great bonding experience. Every time there's a challenge in our business or some big question or a big pivot, even COVID, all of those challenges that come up, when we start talking about it, suddenly we start hearing their stories from what they went through when they were building it. And it's amazing. It's amazing to have that experience, and it's amazing to be able to connect with them in that as well.
You mentioned Who, right? That's your startup.
Yes, that's right.
So can we hear something about your startup, Who? I think Who means flower in Kannada. Am I right?
That's correct.
Yeah,
It means
please.
And I mean, that's what was our motivation to name it Hubu as well, right? So we focus on puja flowers and the daily need of puja flowers. And when it comes to puja, it's such a personal and beautiful experience. And I think everybody thinks about it in their own native language, because we think about how our mom used to do puja or how we used to see it in our grandparents' home. And that's why Hubu seemed like a very appropriate name and paying homage to the city that we're from. So right now we're of course based in Bangalore, but we have operations in Mumbai as well and in Hyderabad. We mainly sell our flowers through different grocery platforms. So that our customers like to subscribe for our product and then get it on a daily basis. They don't want to keep, placing the order. So we supply through Zepto, Big Basket, Fresh to Home, all of these different platforms through which you can just subscribe and get your flowers daily. We're really focused on building, when we see flowers, like for instance, we see flowers everywhere, but there's no real brand that's being built around these flowers. And we really wanted to focus on that, right? How do we focus on building a trusted brand on the puja experience?
Right.
Products you're getting, that it's going to be the best quality because you are offering it to God, right? You want to offer the best to God, nothing else. And that's the idea with which we started. Our flowers stay extremely fresh. Our flowers, usually flowers will build within 2 days. Our flowers stay fresh for up to 2 weeks. And the reason for that is that when the customer gets the flowers, they are able to, use them and not have to worry that, oh, I just bought it, the flowers have become rotten or anything like that. And with that in mind, we've started expanding our product line as well. We have agarbattis, camphor, a few different products that are also available in the puja basket.
But how does it operate? So supposing if I want flowers for my daily puja and all that, how do I go about getting it from your startup?
Go ahead. Yeah. So we're available on all your grocery platforms. So if you're by Hyderabad, Bangalore, you can go to your favorite apps like Big Basket, Zepto, Milk Basket, Grofers. And if you just look up fresh puja flowers there, just like you'll find your fruits, vegetables, milk, all of that, you'll find us as well. We're the only flowers that are available on these apps right now. Click on what you like. So if you want roses, jasmine, tulsi, whatever the combination is, you pick your items and then you choose your frequency. You can either go for a one-time delivery. So if you just have a puja and you just want it for today, or you can say every Monday morning I want it, or every day, every alternate day in the morning I want it, or in the evening I want it. You can choose subscriptions on these platforms and you can order accordingly.
Yeah, but how do you operate? So supposing the order comes to you and it's a daily supply of flowers and all that. So back end, what happens? What kind of operations you have? You have a huge factory in Bangalore. Could you tell us about that and how the operations, they go about in providing these supplies to the customers and all that?
So we have over 60 team members who work with us.
60.
Yes.
Okay.
It goes up to 100 during festivals as well. So around 60 to 100 members. We have warehouses in Hyderabad and Mumbai and Bangalore. Bangalore is our largest facility. And then as we get orders from our different customers, so Ria is our CPO. So she's developed an internal dashboard through which we track all the orders. So the entire process is very automated. Once the orders come in, we're able to see what type of flowers we need, what is the process of packing we're supposed to follow that day. And then we have machines that we develop in-house, which is also designed by Ria in terms of...
I heard about this machine, that this is something developed for the first time in the world. Normally the flowers, they get spoiled maybe in a day or two, but with your packing through the machine which you have developed, it lasts almost 10 to 15 days, right?
Yes, that's right. That was one of the first. So when we started, setting up the farmer network was a crucial part of what we had to do. But then that same question, right? Like what's next? What more can we do? And that's when we realized dyeing in 2 to 3 days, that was the reason that these flowers have such high wastage. That's why the supply chain is so broken. That's why for so many years, you still haven't seen fresh puja flowers in your grocery store or as a branded thing, right? You can buy your packet, you can buy your fruits and vegetable packaged already, but not flowers. So extending that shelf life from 2 to 3 days to 15 days is something that we really worked on and continue to work on, right? Can we go beyond 15 days to 30 days to 45 days? All of those are questions that we're still working on, and
Okay.
hopefully that we'll be able to crack soon.
Yeah, but I have one question that, if I have this machine, this packaging, which which keeps the flowers fresh for 15 days. So if I buy it, I have a stock of my flowers for 15 days. So I won't go for a repeat order so soon. So you're to that extent, you are delaying a purchase by that 10-15 days.
So, it's like that old story. If you have a horse and a rope, you're not going to let go of the rope, but you're not going to let go of the horse, right?
Right.
People don't do puja because they have flowers, right? Whether you
Yeah.
have flowers or not, you have to do your puja because it's
Puja.
your relationship with God. So
Yeah.
just because you have flowers, you're not going to skip your puja, because they're staying fresh. People will do their puja every day or every alternate day according to their preferences. And with flowers, what is their utility, right? It's not something that you eat. It's not something that you consume in anywhere. Their utility is that they're an offering that you're giving to God. Their freshness and their beauty is a reflection of your gratitude and your love for your God. So people buy these flowers, whether they buy, 100 grams, 500 grams, 2 kgs, whatever flowers they buy, no matter how long they last, every time they do their puja, they will buy new flowers because
New flowers. Okay.
with your God, there's no compromise, right?
Yes. But only thing is that they remain fresh, from the point of dispatch to the, the supply point and to the consumer point. So they look fresh, they are fresh, and that's good for the puja and all that.
Exactly. And in this supply chain, you're offering these flowers to your God or your ancestors, whichever way you're using it. But if you see the supply chain, in the past, it's been so broken. There's so much wastage. There's so much dirt. The flowers are everywhere and they're really not handled in the right way. Through our machinery, not only are we extending the shelf life of these flowers, but we're also sanitizing these flowers. We offer zero touch during COVID, especially. This is very important. With our machinery, we could do zero touch packaging for these flowers.
Oh, okay.
That was really important. And people who do like prayer a lot, who are very religious, they don't even smell the flowers before they offer.
Yes.
So they want it to be untouched. They want it to be as pure as possible. But if you really see the way it goes through the market, nobody feels good about it. The farmer doesn't feel good. The vendor doesn't feel good. Customer doesn't feel good. But through our packaging and through our processing, not only are we extending the shelf life of these flowers, but hopefully we're also making your experience more beautiful, because it's easier for you to order, and the quality that you're getting within those 15 days is so much better. And it really feels like untouched flowers coming from the plant to your God's doorstep.
These flowers are procured from your, the farms, or you have different, vendors who supply these flowers to you. And also, what type of flowers are there? Only roses and, other common flowers, or you have variety of flowers?
We have a variety. It's all types of flowers that are used for puja, whether it's jasmine, chrysanthemum, roses, Rajnikanda, and we even do greens. So tulsi, bilpatre, garke, anything that's used for your puja, we want to be able to provide that. And we've tied up with different farmers who grow these different plants, and we get the flowers from them directly. So we have farmers across the country, in Karnataka and Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Pune, all over the place.
Okay. But these packages, the one which if I ordered, say, 100 grams, and I want a mix of maybe tulsi and this other flowers and all that. So that is also available, or I have to go for a separate package of all these items?
We have over 60 different SKUs and on each place as well. So people can subscribe to whichever SKU they like. Like for instance, we have a product called Assorted Flowers Plus Greens Mix, where you get a mix of flowers and you get a mix of whether it's tulsi or bilpatre or anything like that. Someone else want mala, which is just chrysanthemum. We have that as well. So we're based on a lot of insights from customers. Actually, we've developed these 60 SKUs based on what are the popular things that they use for their puja. So then they're able to buy those directly, or even mix and match the different packets, because most of our products are 100 grams or 250 grams. So it's a small enough quantity where you can buy a bunch of different products as well.
Okay. And is this your supplies only for puja only, or for other functions and all that also you supply flowers and all that?
Yeah, we've had people take our flowers for, weddings, baby showers, all of these different events as well. Something exciting to us is that this year we're actually launching puja packages. So for all of your different pujas, for Ganesh Chaturthi, for example, you get your idol, you get all of the flowers that you require for it. For Gudi Padwa, for example, you'd get a package that's curated, So there's lots of traditions around festivals which we don't fully understand. Why are we using camphor? Why are we using durva grass? Why are we using bilpatra? So giving people the meaning behind it and giving them the whole package. So, for us, we started because Yashoda saw my mother doing her puja. And mother was so stressed out during her puja. She was like yelling at the watchman, the driver, and she was like, these flowers are so bad, everything. And for Yashoda, that was really like a brainwave moment of, your puja is supposed to be a peaceful experience. But before that, you're like really fighting with vendors, negotiating. There's something missing. There's something that's over. Getting it is really difficult, all of that stuff. If we can make that entire process as beautiful and peaceful and grateful as your actual puja should be, I think that is what Kuhu is really all about. So that's what these puja packages will be about as well.
I think that was your basic hypothesis on which your startup was built, or the idea came from this, right? And how did you go for this kind of a startup only? There is a story behind it, I believe.
Yeah, that's the story. So started with my mom's puja, and then of course we did a lot more research into the industry, trying to understand how it works, what are the challenges that customers are facing, but also the market vendors, the farmers, and we got started ourselves and understood how we wanted to build out the business.
Okay, and I think before you started or after you started, you you went to an accelerator, right? And that is, I think, Techstars of Bangalore, one of the well-known accelerators and all that. Why did you feel the necessity of going there? Because business was in your blood. Your father was there to guide you. Your mother was there to tell you and to provide all advice to you. So why did you go to this Techstar?
I think for us, having our parents as founders definitely was great inspiration and mentorship. But given that we are first-time founders, and I think both of us have always grown up with that mindset that we need to keep learning and absorbing, right? And that's we studied what we did in colleges and continued to study. So that's what Techstars was. It was a great opportunity for mentorship. It was us out of our comfort zone and also understanding our startup in a very different light. There's a lot that we learned from our parents and their experience. But looking at this entire startup ecosystem, the investment ecosystem through the angle of Techstars really opened up our eyes. It introduced us to a lot of great mentors that helped us, really understand the trajectory in which we want to build out the business as well. And Techstars is such a reputed program across the world, and we were selected in their top 10 startups in the second year that they launched in India. So that in itself was a great honor to be a part of.
Yeah.
But please go ahead.
I think it was a great opportunity because all of the other startups in our cohort had most of them had just kind of started out, or they were in the idea stage, or they were software products, but we had ops, right? And I think Yashoda and I from day one were like very much in it, where, we were very involved in the day-to-day operations. So Techstars was a great opportunity for us to zoom out. Like as soon as they told us, you can't sit in your office, you have to come and sit and WeWork with us. That was like really stressful for both of us as first-time founders, because we said, how can things run without us? But because that's so early on in our journey, it was great because we kind of from day one started having to build systems to make sure that things run even when we're not around. And I think that helped us today as well in terms of zooming out.
Okay, so did you get any financial assistance also organized through this accelerator?
So they also invest in the company, and they're still investors in our company as well.
Okay. Did you seek any outside capital or outside funding, or it was totally bootstrapped and then further funded by your family or something like this, your startup?
We do have investors actually. So we have Techstars, and then we have a couple of angel investors that are coming in as well.
Oh, okay. So you have, so it is a totally an enterprise established on your own resources and on your own strength. That's good. though you are from a business family, you thought of doing it independently and not seeking any help from your family. That's very good.
I think it's too
Yeah,
easy,
please.
right? I think relying on our family business or asking our parents to fund the company, it would have been too easy. And I think it would have been an injustice to the company and the idea. We always felt that whatever we do, this idea is a really good one. This idea, this product is something that should exist in the market. So we should build responsibly so that even if we fail, this idea doesn't fail at the end of the day, because we really do believe that this is an important need. Said, let's stand on our own 2 feet. Let's see if we can really achieve this ourselves. And, touch wood, we've been lucky enough to do it that way so far.
Okay. And who are your do you have any competitors, or if they are, who are your competitors? Or so far nobody has entered into this field?
So far, no one. So we
Okay.
don't have any competitors. Yeah, I mean, I think we're the only brand that's being able to do this, and at the scale that we're doing it at so far. So we've been fortunate.
Are there any entry barriers which has protected you so far and it will still protect you for some more time? Do you perceive any entry barriers to this kind of a business?
Quite a few, actually. And I guess that's the main reason that no other brand came into it before us or even now. And it was something that we really had to work hard on, right? One of them is the supply chain itself. Figuring out the supply chain is not easy because all the farmers that we work with tend to be small scale farmers, right? So with a lot of different types of farmers. And also when you're buying Pooja products, nobody wants to buy roses from you and then go to the market and buy chrysanthemums or other stuff. They want to be everything, right? So being able to build out that large basket, build out the supply chain and the operations for it is very difficult. I think we were fortunate that we did come from that flower background. So we understood how the supply chain worked better. We were able to build the trust with the farmers and start supplying through them. Freshness, maintaining that freshness of the packet, I think, is the most integral and also the most difficult part. And technology allows us to do that, which obviously a lot of people don't have access to. And being able to kind of build to scale, right? A lot of people we've seen have tried it, and then once they hit a certain number of subscriptions, say 30, 40, they tend to drop off because of the operational complexity that comes in. But thanks to the dashboard that Ria has developed and the machinery that we have, we're able to scale very quickly within the cities that we're in and to newer cities as well.
Okay. You said you are currently operating in Bangalore and which other cities?
Hyderabad and Mumbai as well.
Hyderabad and Mumbai. So these are the three the cities where you have your supplies and all that.
So these are the 3 cities where we have our warehouses.
Okay.
But we can supply to 8 cities across India. So especially during festival times, like even if you're in Delhi, Chennai, Mysore, all of these places, you can order our flowers as well.
Okay. But this, for example, I'm now sitting in Pune. So Pune, somebody wants to tie up with you and provide your services in the interior parts of Maharashtra and all that. Is that possible?
Yeah, it is. So because of our packaging and that 15-day shelf life, we're able to package in multiple locations and then send it, wherever. So for example, for Mysore, we would package it in Bangalore and then send it there. So there are multiple models that we work on. We either work with partners, so grocery stores or grocery apps like Big Basket and things like that. That's how we supply in Pune. Or we have franchisees in these cities as well. So Pune was actually our first city outside of Bangalore that we did a supply for.
Pune was the first city. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
So our first year of operations, before the first wave of COVID, we had set up a Pune office and we'd done supply there for multiple months. Of course, during the first wave of COVID, we had to scale that back because everything was shut down. But yeah, we have great love for Pune and hopefully we'll be back there very soon. So our office to Pune is what we're looking at right now.
Yeah, that's good. I would be, waiting for your services to restart in Pune and all that. But
lots of flowers in Pune, so it's a great place.
Pardon me?
Flowers in Pune, so it's a great place for us to be in.
Okay. And how many customers do you have currently? What is the size of your customer base?
I mean, we service around 150,000 to 200,000 orders per month.
Per month? Oh, that's great. Yeah.
So we've scaled quite quickly that way. And we have customers across different cities, different platforms.
This is, there has been a lot of, discussions, and we read a lot about it in newspapers too and all that. And we do see it. There are many, farmers and all that who grow flowers, these flowers are wasted because the demand is for for some typical period or something like that, and after that there are no buyers. That many of them have to throw it out, and they don't earn much. But with your kind of a startup and with your kind of the packaging systems and all that, I think that it would be a great help to these farmers. So they can enhance their income, and they can, whatever produce they have, they can, take it for a longer period and earn more than what they are earning today.
Yeah. So I think you're completely right. Even before we had to start selling to customers, we really had to sell ourselves to farmers. And it has to be a beneficial relationship between the farmer and the company, right? Because they are really the backbone of what we're doing. The unpredictability in this market, the kind of fluctuations that happen, the short shelf life, they've all meant that flower farmers have really suffered. And, regardless of how much the rest of the world has changed in the last 3 decades, for these farmers, their insecurity has been the same, right? You don't know what price you're going to sell your flowers at. You don't know if, like you said, you can sell the entire quantity. And if you're not able to sell your harvest on that day, there's no buffer, right? Like it's kind of thrown out. So there are multiple ways that we work with this. A is that we work more on a subscription-based model. So it's easier for us to forecast what kind of demand that we'll have, and we're able to buy the entire produce of the farmers that we work with, which gives them a lot of stability. And they know that every day we'll buy that entire quantity from them, right? So it's that's a huge amount
of assured market for the produce.
Exactly. And then because of our processing technology, whatever produce they give us, we're actually able to keep it for a longer amount of time and process it in the right way, not give them huge losses because of returns and things like that. And I think the third thing that's been really interesting is what happens to a flower after it's used, right? Whatever you do with processing, you will always have some amount of wastage of the flowers. And that's been a really interesting question for us. So we have an agarbatti line that uses, sacred flowers from temples and makes them into agarbattis. But going even beyond that, last year we did holy powder out of these flowers. So most of the holy powders that you see in the market, they take some color from the flowers and then they mix it with other, either chemicals or rice flour or something like that. But we did 100% flower powders and got really great responses for that. We've also done other things like rangoli powder with the flowers, flower rakis, all sorts of different experiments to see how we can give these flowers a different life. And I think that's something that we'll always be working on. Potpourri is something that we tried this Diwali as well, that people really loved. So I think it's always about asking that question, right? Like, what's next with these flowers? Like, what more can we do for farmers beyond just buying their flowers? How can we give their produce a little bit more mileage?
So I think, have you decided that your domain of business or operation will be something related to puja, and that's why you started with puja flowers and now with agarbatti and certain other puja products and all that? So what's your thinking, the future thinking or future planning besides agarbatti? And you said holy powder, you said, right? What that holy powder, I didn't much understand. So you could tell me something more about that too.
So holy, like, when people celebrate Holi, they use synthetic.
Oh, okay. That holy. Okay. Yeah.
In terms of our vision, I think for Yashoda and me, it's always been that fresh puja flowers are at the heart of what we do. But it's really about having a fresh take on traditions, right? That's what we always tell ourselves. These flowers are a new way of doing something that's been an age-old practice. And why can't we extend that to the rest of the puja basket as well? So agarbattis, kumkum, turmeric, camphor, betel nuts, anything that you use in your puja experience, Right now, that supply chain is very fragmented. It's very broken. People are not sure of the quality they're getting. People are not sure what price to get it at. And, for a puja, if you need 10 things, you have to go to 10 different places to get it. It'll be 10 different brands. There's really no standardization. You don't really know the meaning behind items. You have to call up your mother, you have to call up your grandmother, you have to look it up online. So where are you looking at a fresh take on traditions, right? With flowers at the heart of it and the rest of the puja basket coming around that. So whatever you need for your puja experience, not just the physical things, but the digital, the information around it, the meaning behind it. We aspire to provide all of that for our customers.
You mentioned about standardization of your product and all that. That brings me to the quality aspect of this, because these are puja flowers, these are flowers. And, how do you ensure that you get first the quality flowers and which are passed on to your customers and all that? So what is that, which ensures the quality of your products? One is the packaging part of it, but before that, when you package it, it has to be of good quality, right? So the quality control aspect of it.
The largest foundation behind that is our entire company and of course the team's obsession with freshness. That's something that we obsess over so much, and we would love to have you visit our warehouse, and when you do, you'll see that each and every flower is checked for its quality. Each flower is checked differently, whether the back of the flower is browning or the front, the petals, are the petals loose. There's so many different SOPs for different types of flowers, and we look at each of those because we're so obsessed with freshness, and that's something that's ingrained into each team member.
This is being done manually, or you have developed some system for this too?
It's a combination of both factors, right? What we've always realized is that nothing can replace a human at the end of the day. But what that human does has to be very selective, right? If I say you do everything, then even what you're good at, you won't be able to do well. So we automate the steps that we can automate. So we have, as soon as the stock comes in, a photo is taken of it. It's rated amongst different parameters that we've set in advance. And then beyond that, stuff that cannot be automated right now with technology is what we, really use humans for. That's where the team really comes in, right? Like one thing that we always joke about is that the freshest flowers in any market will not be in the baskets. It'll be in the lady's hair. That's how you really fresh that day, which variety is good. Because at the end of that day, like nothing can replace that human being. But how do we support that human being with as much technology as possible is what we're trying to build up. So we're trying to automate the process as much as possible, but we still have human intelligence come in because nothing can really replace that.
And are these your products and services, are they affordable, or they are something high price, or
No. You'll see how products start from, they start from rupees 30 and then they go upwards to 100 grams. So it's very affordable. It's very competitive with the market, especially consider that you're getting sanitized flowers, different quality, much better quality, and you're getting it delivered to your doorstep, which I think is great convenience for everyone involved. Also paying the farmers better prices. We have all of our ladies employed, and we have that health insurance, all of that. So we make sure that the pricing is fair for the product that you're getting, but at the same time that you're not overpriced. As it's really about getting these puja flowers to every doorstep. For that, you need the right technology, you need the right distribution, you also need the right price point. But honestly, what we found is that in the beginning, before people try our flowers, they might haggle on price. They might say, oh, I can get it for 2 rupees cheaper, 5 rupees cheaper. That will always be there. I think, that's what you're used to in the markets, haggling, because you're used to getting it off, right? But as soon as people experience the product and they really understand what is that differentiator, they won't believe our words for it, right? Like you just have to see the product to understand it. Then that haggling behavior completely stops. Because I think people understand the quality that they're paying for, and nobody will look at a business class seat and want to pay an economy price for it, right? So people like the quality differential.
So you did mention about some of your future plan, but from 5 years hence, so where do you see yourself? What kind of operations Huwa will have, and whether it will be spread all over the country and even internationally also, or whether it will go for some other related products or other segments of business. Do you plan to open or something like?
Mhm. We see Hubu becoming a pan-India brand that is synonymous with puja flowers and the overall puja tradition. That's what we're really focused on. There's a lot of growth opportunities outside India as well. But our first focus is cracking it in India, making our brand so synonymous that if someone says, okay, it's a Hubu packet, then I don't need to worry whether it's going to be fresh, what is the quality going to be. I know that it's going to be great for my puja. So building that customer trust, and that only comes as different types of customers try our product and we continuously improve our operations as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you go to a temple, if you go to a flower market, grocery store, kirana store, online, wherever you go, if you see flowers, hopefully you should be seeing them in Hubu packets. And just the way you open up a lace packet and you don't even think twice, you know that it's going to be safe to eat, even though it's a health related product. You know it's going to be safe because it's in a lace packet. The same way, if you can open up a Hubu packet and you don't have to check the flowers because you 100% know they'll be the best quality, I think that's when we would have achieved what we set out to do.
Yeah, but your product, this thing is only flowers, right? Puja flowers and all that. Are you not thinking of some kind of value addition? Because in puja, sometimes we do use malas also, or some other things also. So are you planning to do that also, or are you doing that also?
We're already doing that. So
You're already doing that, yeah.
And for specific festivals, if there are any specific types of malas or types of products that are required, we already offer that. And then we do the non-perishables that are used for puja as well. So basically everything that's part of your puja experience, from understanding like the knowledge, right? Like what date is my puja? Why should I do it? What is the significance? To actually helping you do the puja and the items that we want to be there throughout that entire puja experience and be that trusted source where people know that, okay, if I'm getting the information from Hubu, it's going to be reliable. If I'm getting the product from Hubu, it's going to be a reliable product that I can use.
Yeah. How do you promoting your product, and how do you creating awareness about your services and all that? Is it only through the the social media, internet, or you undertake any other activities too?
We've always had a varied approach. I think ads have never been our favorite way to reach people. And the target audience that we're talking about as well is they are digital, they are online, but they're not primarily online, right? We're not looking at the 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds. We're really looking at 40+ audience who is doing puja. So we do have an online presence, of course, on Facebook, Google, Instagram. But beyond that, really what we're looking at is, can we do offline activation? Can we actually get these flowers in people's hands to touch and feel? So we go to a lot of apartment buildings, we do a lot of fairs, activities like that. And beyond just that commercial interaction, I think this is a very emotional product. So for us, one of our big clients are actually temples. So we started this where we supply flowers to temples. And they're not only a customer for us, but they're also a validation for us, right? Every single person who's going to that temple is seeing Hubu flowers and is understanding that, they are good enough quality, they're good enough in design to be on the temple idol, then they're good enough for my home as well. So that's another way that we actually reach customers. We do all sorts of events and community building activities. So, like meaning building activities, like showing people why Holi, what Holi means, or what Onam means, and why we should do the, Rangoli together. All of that stuff, I think, helps people understand the tradition better and helps them understand why we are a fresh take on that tradition, right? Okay. So we do a lot of those offline activations where on auto ads, where on, like your flyers, your newspapers, all of that as well. And of course, digital always helps us with that. But more than ads, we've always found that if we put up a video about the meaning behind Varma Lakshmi, that does 100 times better than an ad saying buy flowers for Varma Lakshmi. Because I think people want to understand their puja experience more. If we can do that for them, I think that's good enough.
That's very innovative. Yeah. I had been to Amsterdam and I have seen the flower market there, the auction and all that. They start very early in the morning. So that my thinking is that everything related to flower starts very early, because puja also is carried out early in the morning. So I'm sure that you must be also getting to your work very early in the morning.
No. I'm very lucky to have Yashoda as the CEO, because I'm not
Okay.
a person. If it wasn't for Yashoda, this company would have died a long time ago.
Okay. So how is, pardon me?
I am a morning person, that definitely helps. But yeah, the flower markets start off by 7 a.m. in the morning. We get our orders overnight. So we're really planned. That first hour of the day is very important for us in terms of, planning for the day, understanding what type of supply to get and everything. So it does start quite early, but it's also very exciting in the morning.
Yeah. How is the distribution of work amongst you two?
Mhm.
How do you divide the work, and who is handling what portfolio?
So I'm the CEO, so I take care of the day-to-day operations and finance and things related to that.
Mhm.
I'm the CTO, so I take care of technology and marketing.
Technology. Okay, that's good. And yeah, this there will be many who would get inspired by reading about you, or listening to your interviews, and listening to this, seeing this video and all that. Uh, which are the areas you feel they, which are coming up for somebody, if you, a youth who wants to start some kind of a startup, or some want to develop some enterprise and all that, which areas according to you are very, very potential areas for starting a startup or something like that?
Mhm. I think technology is very exciting today. If you can be in that digital space, everyone is kind of there. Everyone is looking for content.
Mhm.
You can be that person who gives people meaning, insights, some valuable add-on. It doesn't have to be a product itself. It can be a service. If you can do
Mhm.
that digitally, I think today the world is your oyster. And I think the kind of startup environment that we're in really
Mhm.
distribution has been solved for. There's a lot of channels through which you can distribute your product. So really cracking a great product, it can be something super, super specific. Like I've seen companies that do, like wellness food for dogs, or I've
Yeah.
seen people do very specific things like, I'm only thinking of wellness things now, but like protein tablets for like women above a certain age. It can be extremely targeted. But I think as long as your product is really, really good, the distribution is there, and you can really leverage that to reach a lot of people. So if you can understand people and really target like even one need that they have, and
Develop
focus
on.
for it, I think there's a huge market out there for you today, which didn't exist, I think, 10 years ago.
Now you're in business for, I think, last 4 or 5 years, so more than that.
3.5 years.
3.5 years. Okay, so what were your challenges? The problems you had to face during these years, and how did you overcome that?
I mean, I think a large challenge was the fact that, in a way, we were creating a category. Of course, people have always used flowers, and flower isn't a very big industry by itself, but there was never a brand that was doing it, right? So when we did start off, there were a lot of questions like, how are you going to do this? Is it even possible? No one has done it before, which means it can't work, right?
Yeah.
I think the biggest validation we got is our customers never asked us those questions. The customers were always super excited that something like that existed, and that's what allowed us to get through that challenge.
Yeah, I think COVID was obviously like a huge challenge that everyone had to face together, but we're an operations heavy business and people coming together. So I think that was a huge challenge, but for us it was a great learning opportunity as well. So we were able to come out of that stronger.
Okay, good. Ria means flowing stream, right? That's
Oh,
the meaning of your name.
I didn't know that.
And Yashoda is, of course, we know, the first mother of Lord Krishna, who created the entire universe, and also, they came up with the wonderful philosophy of the world, Gita, and all that, and that's worldwide now. So I'm sure that the flow of stream of this who is going to be very, very, flowing freely all over the world, and your business is definitely going to be growing bigger and bigger in the days to come, and with your innovative thinking and innovative ways of doing business, you would certainly come out with newer products and newer services, of course, in the domain of Pooja. So I wish you all the best. It was very a good interaction, interesting interaction. I have learned so many things from both of you, and I'm sure my listeners and my viewers also, they would learn a lot of things from you, and many youngsters like you would be definitely motivated to get into something and do something like something you're doing and all that. So thanks a lot. I really enjoyed the interaction, and I look forward to interact with you again. And thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
तर मंडळी, तुम्हाला या नवीन एक क्षेत्राबद्दल आज कळलं असेल की पूजा, देवाची पूजा जी आपण रोज करतो, आणि त्या देवाच्या पूजेचा जर विचार जर केला तर त्या देवाच्या पूजेकरता काय काय गोष्टी लागतात, या गोष्टी सुद्धा त्याच्यातून आपल्याला स्टार्टअप सारखा किंवा एखादा व्यवसाय सुरू करता येतो, एखादा उद्योग सुरू करता येतो, आणि हा उद्योग हा आपल्याच वेगवेगळ्या ज्या नवीन कल्पनांना एक मूर्त स्वरूप देऊन खूप वाढवता येतो. तेव्हा मला अशी नक्कीच खात्री आहे की आजचा हा कार्यक्रम तुम्हाला खूप काही सांगून गेला असेल, तुम्हाला आवडला सुद्धा असेल. तेव्हा नक्कीच या माझ्या चॅनलला सबस्क्राईब करा, लाईक करा, आणि इतरांनाही सांगा, म्हणजे त्यांना सुद्धा या असे कार्यक्रम पाहून एक स्फूर्ती मिळेल, आणि आपल्याला आपलं जे उद्दिष्ट आहे की अनेक उद्योजक निर्माण करण्याचं, ते नक्कीच साध्य होईल. धन्यवाद.